So I guess to give you guys a bit of an overview of the course and the reason I've created this course before we get into the content, this course is going to be slowly sort of dripped out each week. 2 episodes for free, streamed live like this on Facebook. I'm going to be building it over the next 2 months. If you want to sign up and get it, it's only $97 while I'm releasing it, bit by bit. You can sign up at any time and you'll get access to it 2 lessons a week as they come out, and then at the end you'll have access to everything permanently. After the whole thing's out, the price will go up a little bit. So sign up now if you want to save a little bit of money before the final thing's out, but we're definitely going to smash phrasal verbs. You're going to learn them effortlessly and you're going to be using them like a pro by the end of this course. And yeah, if for whatever reason you can't sign up, you can't get the course bonus content, you can always stream it free. It'll be on Facebook, it'll be on YouTube, and I'll also be putting it on the podcast for all of you guys to be able to access at least the audio and the video. Okay? So again, I'm making this course because I know how much of a nightmare phrasal verbs can be. And again, as I've said in the previous episodes, I'm not going to be focusing on verbs. I'm going to be focusing on the particles that follow the verbs and trying to teach you guys the cognitive linguistics. What does that mean in layman's terms? In simple terms, that means how I think as a native speaker. When I create phrasal verbs, I get the particle and I get the verb and I join them. I want to teach you guys to think how I think. So how I'm imagining it all. Okay, so that's the basic idea. A lot of the courses out there always seem to focus on the verbs and just giving you big lists to memorize. I would prefer to teach you the 50 or so most common verbs, which you already probably know, 16 to 20 different particles, which you probably already know. And then as a result of understanding the cognitive linguistics, you can just join them together and create phrasal verbs spontaneously and effortlessly. So the course is going to be an introduction that I've already done, and then I'll go through each of the particles. It'll be about 16 lessons. I'll do some comparative lessons where I compare particles like on versus off, in versus out, from versus away, etc. And then we'll have that all packaged together into a single course that you guys can use permanently. And when you sign up for this course, you'll get access to things as they get dripped out, 2 episodes a week, but I'll be taking this video and I'll be putting it into the slideshow that I'm actually reading off with images, with example sentences, with definitions and everything for the phrasal verbs so that you can watch me up in the corner and be watching the slideshow at the same time. You'll have a word-by-word transcript of everything that I say, and I'll also be highlighting in those transcripts every phrasal verb that I use, not just the lesson's focus particle like this one, away, every phrasal verb, and I list them at the end, I define them, and I give you an exercise. And you'll also get an MP3 of this audio to download and listen to anywhere, anytime. So once again, guys, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, if everything's going well, and we can we can jump straight into it. And sorry if I cough a little bit, I have a bit of a cold that I'm getting over again. Frustrating times, but we're coming out of winter, guys. We're coming out of winter. All right, welcome to the 3rd class of the Effortless Phrasal Verbs course, guys. Today we're going to be focusing on the particle away, and so let's just get into it. So, as usual, we'll start by going through the different meanings that the particle away can bring to a phrasal verb when it's added to a verb. Number 1, it's related to position and movement and the idea of separation. So if I have one thing here and a second thing here, they're together if they're close, they're away from one another if they're far. And so often you're going to see this happen again and again. Away is talking about this action, this separation, okay? So keep that in your head for this entire lesson, the basic concept of separation or distance between 2 things, at least 2 things. So number 1, position and movement, separation. Number 2, maintaining distance. So if I keep someone away, I'm maintaining distance. I'm trying to keep that distance like this. I'm trying to keep them away. Okay, number 2, maintain distance. Number 3, to erode away or to reduce gradually. So this is the idea of little bits, little pieces coming away from something and it getting smaller and smaller, it being reduced, it eroding. Number 4 is to store, to hoard, or to hide something away, right? So if you hoard something, if you store it somewhere, if you take something and put it somewhere, you're taking it from where it was away and putting it somewhere else. Okay, so that's number 4, to store, to hoard something, to hide something. Number 5 is to get rid of, to dispose of something. Obviously, if you take something and you get rid of it, if you take something and you dispose of it, again, it's that separation, guys. We're removing it from wherever it was and we're getting rid of it, we're taking it away and it's disappearing. It's that distance, that separation is being created between two things, okay? Separation. So number 5, to get rid of something, to dispose of something. Number 6, and this is probably the most abstract version of using away with phrasal verbs, when we put the particle away into a phrasal verb with another verb. The most abstract meaning is to do something sort of continuously with no end, with no sort of ultimate result in mind, at least when you're talking about it. So it's just to keep doing that thing again and again and again and again. We'll go through some miscellaneous verbs as well where, like that one, to do something with no end, to do something with no result, number 6, the miscellaneous ones might have some kind of connection with separation, but where it's going to be a little obscure and it may not be that obvious, okay? So there's a handful of those. And then as usual, after that, we will go through some expressions that use phrasal verbs, including the particle away. All right. So, number 1, okay, movement. So you can remove something, you can subtract something. It's that creating distance. You're taking something away, for example, the first one, to take something away. The referee took 1 point away from the other team. So you could imagine that the team has scored a point, obviously. They've kicked a point, they've thrown their ball, and they've got a point somehow in the game. They've done something that was a little bit dodgy. Maybe they elbowed one of the other players and it was an illegal move. And the referee saw it. He had an eye on them and he was like, yeah, nah, that's not okay. I want to take that point. I want to take it away. Okay? I'm subtracting it. I'm removing it from that team. I'm taking it away. You can also whisk, spirit, or steal away. This is sort of more abstract in its usage. You won't hear this very often used in sort of common parlance, to use a French word, common speaking. But to whisk someone away, to spirit someone away, or to steal away with someone is the idea of secretly taking someone or going with someone away. So for example, he whisked his girlfriend away for the weekend. It's kind of like took her away for the weekend to go on a holiday. Or maybe you've got a prince who is in danger of being assassinated by another royal family. He could be spirited away in the night to somewhere safe. He could steal away with his guards in the night and be taken somewhere safe. Okay, so again, it's the idea of separation. You're whisking your girlfriend away, or you're stealing away with someone, you're spiriting something or someone away. It's the idea of, like, I guess the thing becoming a ghost where it once was and disappearing. Okay? The last one for here is to run away, and I'm sure you guys will know what this means. If you run away with someone, it's the idea of you two getting together. You're getting together and you're both going somewhere away from the current location. So maybe you have a girlfriend and her parents absolutely hate you and they don't want you to be together. If you and your girlfriend get together and decide we're going to escape, we're going to run away, you disappear, you remove yourselves, you subtract yourselves from that situation. So her parents' house is here, you guys get together and you run away. That distance is created again. So still number one, but now we're talking about sort of leaving permanently and or for a long time, okay? So you're leaving permanently or for a very long time, kind of like running away. That leads into this set of phrasal verbs really well. So you can go away on holiday, right? I went away on a holiday. You live here, the holiday's in Queensland, you went away on holiday. Distance. That change in position, okay? You've created the distance. You can step away from something. So imagine you're standing here and you step back. You step away from something. So imagine that you have a friend who's out in the bush. Maybe he's taking a leak. So he's, urinating behind a tree out in the bush. It's fine. There's no people around. And so as he's relieving himself behind a tree, he looks down and he sees a snake. And this happened to me one time. So he looks down and he sees a snake sitting like this and he steps away. So he's like this and he's stepping away. He's creating distance between the snake and between him, okay? To step away from something. You can also get away from something, obviously, if the house is on fire. You've got a girlfriend in the house and imagine she needs to escape. She needs to run away from that fire. She opens the door and she gets away just in time before the house falls in, before it all collapses and burns up. She gets away from the burning house, so she saves herself. And the last one, obviously, we can use to move away. So again, I'm teaching you guys the verb can keep changing, but away in this sense is just that distance, that separation, the distance being created, okay? Two things separating. So you moved away from the sink. Imagine you're cleaning up all the dishes after dinner. You've cleaned them up off the table. You've put them in the sink. You've washed them up and now you're putting them away. Once you step back from the sink, you step away from the sink, creating that distance. So the sink's here, you were here, and now you're doing this. You're moving away, you're coming away, you're going away. So again, the verb is whatever you want in order to describe the way in which that distance is being generated, the way in which this movement is occurring. You just pick the verb, guys. That's the secret to these phrasal verbs. Once you understand what the particle means, you just insert the particle where you need it and you pick any verb you want that describes what you're seeing or what you're trying to describe and you pair them together. That's it, okay? That's the main secret to these literal phrasal verbs, at least. There are always some that are exceptions that you just have to learn. All right, so is this the last section? The last bit of movement before we get on to number 2, okay? Definition 1 still, movement, leaving. You can run away with something. So imagine you are a thief, you're a robber, you've broken into a bank, you have broken into the vault or into the safe, you've emptied out all of the safe's loot, and so afterwards you have gotten out of the building and you've run away. You've run away with the loot. So the robbers have run away, they've got away from the bank, they've run away with the loot. And you can also use this in a more figurative sense if they run away, meaning that they've run away from everyone else. So we don't know where they are. The cops don't know where they are. They've run away, okay? You could, if these thieves were incredibly nonchalant, if they were incredibly relaxed, maybe one of the thieves is a woman, you could say she walked away. So she just walked away. So instead of running away, running really fast, she just walked away from the scene of the crime. Pretty chilled out. She was relaxed, calmed down after the crime, and she just walked away. So someone as well, if they were in a car accident, they could walk away from the car accident. And we often use this one too, figuratively, to mean that they weren't injured. So if she walks away from a car accident, it could be the literal sense that she was in a car accident and then afterwards she came out of the car, she got out of the car and then walked away from the car. It can also mean, though, not literally like that, but figuratively, that she walked away uninjured. So she sort of got away from that situation in good health. Yeah, she walked away with her life. She walked away from the car accident uninjured. You could also ask someone to back away. So imagine that there's a dangerous animal like that snake out in the bush, and someone's got his eyes on you, a mate's watching you, and he sees the snake before you see the snake. The snake's popped its head up and is looking very dangerous, like he's going to strike at you. He could say, dude, look out, back away from the snake. There's a snake just down there, back away. So create that distance, get that separation happening. I want you to go away by backing, which is to move backwards like that, okay? We can also use this in a little bit of a more figurative sense, but again, permanent, leaving permanently, right? If your parents pass away, it means that they die. And obviously death is permanent. So if my father passed away, it means that he's deceased, he's died, he's no longer alive, he's passed away from life into death, he's passed away, okay? Separation, permanence. So that is all of movement and number one's definition for away, guys. Number two is to maintain distance. So this isn't creating the distance. This time it is you've got the distance and you're trying to maintain it. So you're trying to keep that distance there. So for example, imagine that a woman has broken up with her boyfriend and she's asked him to keep away. She said to her boyfriend, look, I don't want you anywhere near me. I want you to keep away from me. She needed to keep him away. He was dangerous, so she kept him away. So we're using the particle away, guys, to talk about maintaining this distance. We're not together, we're away. Together, away. Okay? If he came too close, maybe, he snuck up on her somewhere, she could turn around and just say, get away from me. As in, if you're shy, you don't like talking, if you shy away from, say, a situation or maybe some food, or it could be anything, speaking in public, it means you're trying to avoid it. So you're trying to keep distance between that thing that you're talking about shying away from and yourself. So, for instance, if I don't like sushi, I might shy away from sushi. I might try and always maintain distance between me and sushi, so I'm shying away from it. Someone might say to me, don't shy away from trying this food. It's amazing. Get into it. Give it a try. Give it a go. Sushi's great. Don't shy away from it. You guys might shy away from speaking English with other people. You might avoid it, which I don't recommend that you do. You need to keep speaking English. But it takes practice to stop shying away, creating distance between you and this thing. So it's a good word. It's a good verb. It's high level. So use shy away when talking about sort of avoiding something. We can also use to tear someone. So to tear, this action, imagine I've got paper and I tear it like that. To tear someone away from something. So imagine you tear a piece of paper away so that it rips and you pull it off the other piece of paper. You tear that piece away and off from this piece of paper. If you tear someone away from something, this is the figurative idea of trying to separate someone from something. So you imagine, say, a boy has just received a PlayStation, so a gaming console, and he's playing it 24/7, 7 days a week. He's always on this thing. His parents can't tear him away from the PlayStation. So you imagine that he is one piece of the half of the paper, the PlayStation's the other piece, and they can't tear this piece of paper in half with the PlayStation on one figurative side and him on the other figurative side. They can't separate these two things. They can't tear him away from it. Another example could be maybe you have an amazing book and you're reading it and you just can't put it down. You can't stop yourself from just finishing it, reading. You can't tear yourself away from the book. You can't tear yourself away. So that's another really cool one. He couldn't tear himself away from his new book. He couldn't tear himself away. He had to keep reading it. All right, number 3. So this one's talking about eroding away or reducing away. So we can talk about erosion and reduction, to erode, to reduce, and we can kind of make it a bit redundant by adding in away. So you might hear this from time to time where the verb kind of infers what the particle that's added onto it means anyway. But I would often hear people say the cliff face is eroding away, or his money is reducing away. But yeah, anyway, keep the idea at the moment of erosion and reduction. Imagine that someone is spending a lot of money. So he got all of this inheritance. He got all this money when his dad passed away. His dad passed away and left in his will all of this money to be given away to his son. Okay, so his son has gotten all of this inheritance, and if he spends all of it, he's spending it away. He's spending it away. So he spent his father's inheritance away. So if that happens, the idea here is that he had the money was with him, and then he spent it, and it was no longer with him, but now it was away. So he had the money, he spent the money, and the money has gone away. So he spent the money away. We can also use a very informal version of this sort of, I guess, phrasal verb, but the informal version would use the verb to piss away, to piss away. Okay, you can use this. It doesn't really have that connotation of urinating, which is the literal version of to piss. In English, we actually use to piss in a lot of different examples. One example was alcohol, we can often refer to as piss. So this is something to use in informal situations. I wouldn't use this at work, but to piss something away is to spend it away or to reduce it gradually, to use it all up. So if you piss away your savings, it means you're spending away all of your savings until there's nothing left. So he pissed away his savings and she spent away her inheritance. Continuing on with erosion and reduction. If you are eating a cake, so you have a cake here and it gets sliced up, it gets chopped up, it gets cut up into, say, 12 pieces. So the pieces are all sitting there ready to be taken away and eaten. If you're just the only person that's eating this cake and someone comes over and says, "What are you doing?" You could say, "Oh, I'm just slowly chipping away at this cake." Chipping away, to chip away, this is kind of the action of doing this. If you chip, you could talk about it with chopping a tree down. You're chipping away at the tree. And it's just the idea of sort of cutting at it. So slowly getting it done, slowly getting through the tree. But we use this colloquially to sort of mean to slowly get through, to slowly work at. So if I'm slowly chipping away at eating a cake, it means that I'm eating piece by piece. I'm eating the cake away so that the cake is being reduced. It's gradually disappearing. So I'm chipping away at the cake until it's gone. I'm chipping away at the cake. Or we chipped away at eating the cake. You can eat away at something, and this can mean a few different things, but they're all sort of connected. So if I could be eating away at the cake as well as chipping away at the cake, but you could be eating away at your lunch as well, obviously. You know, you've got some friends and they're eating away at their lunch, or they ate away at their lunch, so they were just eating away until the lunch was gone. So they're eating, and eventually they've separated themselves from the lunch because the lunch is no longer here. It's gone. But you can also use this in a figurative sense. I guess kind of. It doesn't literally mean to eat, as in put it in your mouth. But if you had, say, the tide come in on the shore of an ocean, onto the beach, if the tide came all the way up and then hit the bank, maybe there's a sand dune here, or a cliff, could be anything, but there's some kind of substance or structure here. If the water comes in and keeps smashing up against this object, if the object slowly reduces over time, you could say that the water or the waves or the ocean is eating away at the cliff, at the dunes. The ocean's eating away at the sand in the dunes. So it's slowly, imagine like Pac-Man coming in and eating away at this thing. If you spilt acid on some steel and it could melt through the steel, you could say that the acid is eating away at the steel. It's reducing it, it's eroding it, it's corroding it, it's getting rid of it. The last one here is to pick away at something. Kind of like to eat away at something when we were talking about the cake, but this time the verb is to pick, which is to do this with your fingers, to pick. So maybe you're not eating very much, you're sitting there and you're just pulling off pinch-sized bits of the cake to eat. You could be pinching away at the food, you could be picking away at the food, you could be pulling away bits. Again, you just pick the verb that you want, guys, and you match it with the particle away to describe that action. The distance is being created, that there's reduction happening, that there's erosion happening. It's all linked, so keep thinking about that. So we picked away at our food. All right. We've gone over to erode away, so imagine the cliff edge has eroded away, or the edge of the cliff has eroded away. So imagine there's a cliff which is like a sharp hill, you know, it's dead straight, it's sort of vertical. If a lot of rain comes, it can erode, bits can fall away, and slowly the erosion takes the cliff edge away, so it's eroding away. It's being eaten away. The cliff edge is being taken away by all the rain that's coming down, or maybe by the ocean that's coming in and slowly coming at the cliff and taking it away. You can also wither away. We often use this to refer to animals or plants that are getting thin or that are wilting, that are running out of water or energy or food, so they're getting thinner and unhealthily thin usually. So imagine you've got like a plant and it's a really hot day and the plant withered away. It withered away until it died, and it was, really, really dry. The plant died. You probably wouldn't say passed away for a plant. Usually use that for people, but imagine the plant passed away. You could say that the plant had withered away from the heat. The heat had caused the plant to wither away. The plant withered away from the heat, so it went reduced down to a very limited size, or before it died. You could also say that something wasted away, or that something is wasting away. So imagine you have a starving cow, there's no grass in the field, the cow's been left in this field and there's no longer any food, he's run out of food, so he's walking around and there's nothing to eat, there's just sand or rocks or something. He has water though, so he can survive, he can live on, but unfortunately his size is decreasing, he's reducing in size, he's becoming emaciated, he's becoming incredibly thin, he's wasting away, he's withering away. So we often say this for any kind of animal that really loses weight, is getting unhealthy like that. So if you had cancer and you were in the hospital and you weren't able to keep weight on, you're wasting away, you're withering away, okay? All right. We went through eat away at something, up something, sorry. We went through eating away at something. So the acid eats away at the metal. Went through that. We can wear away at something like the soles of our shoes. So the bottom part of our shoes that we walk in. If we walk around in our shoes a lot, we run, we use them a lot, we use them up if they're a resource. But the soles of my shoes, for example, wore away, and that means that the soles were once thick and they wore away, so they were wearing off, little bits were coming off and they were wearing away, so they were reducing. The bits of rubber were coming off it and it was being reduced down to a much thinner sole on my shoe. The soles of my shoes wore away. Number 4, so now we're on to storing things, hoarding things, hiding things. So we could say if you hide away somewhere, you've taken yourself and hidden yourself away from whatever it is that you're trying to hide away from. Okay, so imagine Anne Frank is the perfect example. Anne Frank during the Second World War was the Dutch Jewish girl that hid in the attic, so she hid herself away in the attic. Anne Frank hid away in the attic from the Germans, from the Nazis. She hid away, she took herself away from normal life or wherever it was that she was, and she stored herself, she hid herself, she hoarded herself away in the attic. We can use the verb to squirrel away, and a squirrel is a type of rodent from Europe and America. These guys often take nuts and put them away in a specific location for winter. So they store them away. The squirrels squirrel the nuts away. So we actually take the animal and make it a verb because they're so sort of well known to do this and to hide these things away. They take the nuts. The squirrel squirreled away his nuts for winter. So the squirrel squirreled away nuts for the winter. It's a bit of a tongue twister. We could say he stored his nuts away for the winter. So he took the nuts, he took them away from where they were, and he stored them away from everyone else so that they wouldn't get access to his nuts, that he could eat them during winter. So imagine too that I store my tools in my shed. So I have a shed in my house or outside my house where all my tools are. Maybe up on the wall here, I take my tools and I store them in the shed. But if I put them away, which in this sense is kind of like where they belong, so away from everything else, I put them in there, say a closet or some kind of rack. I'm storing them away. I'm hiding them away if I don't want someone to find them. If I am hoarding them, that's the idea of getting as many as I can and putting them away from everyone else, but I'm storing my tools away in the shed. Imagine that I have a gun safe, and instead of tools, I put guns away in the safe. I could say that I locked the guns away in the gun safe. So again, the guns are locked in the safe. They're away from me, from everyone else. They're inside the safe. They're locked away in the safe. Number 5 now. Okay, remember to get rid of something. So again, you've got something here, you and that thing are together, and then you throw it away, you get rid of it, you're creating that distance to get rid of something. Or to dispose of something, to throw something away, which is the first one we're going to go through. So when you dispose of something, we have lots of different ways of saying this in English. You can throw something away. That's this action. Again, if you throw something, it tends to separate from where you are. So if I throw a ball to you, I'm throwing the ball away from me to you. And if you throw the ball back to me, you're throwing it away from yourself to me, and I'll catch it in my hands. So we can say we threw something away, like we threw the trash away. We could say to chuck, which is the same action as to throw. To chuck the trash away. We chucked the trash away. We can use to turf. We turfed the trash away. Another sort of colloquial, informal way of saying to throw or to chuck, to turf it. And we can also say to toss something away, and it means exactly the same thing. To throw away, to chuck away, to turf something away, and to toss something away. Did you want this, Pete? Nah, it's all good. Just toss it in the trash, toss it away, throw it away. I don't want it anymore, but thanks. If instead of throwing the thing away, we're giving it to someone so that they can take the thing away from me, I'm giving the thing away. So I'm giving it to someone so that they can have it. And we usually use this to mean that it is free. So I'm not asking for money. I gave something away. It's yours. It's all yours. So for instance, I gave away my old boardies, or I gave away my old wettie. And a wettie is a wetsuit, something that you wear when the water's cold to keep warm. A wetsuit, that's a wettie. And boardies are board shorts. So those are 2 Aussie slang terms for you guys. So I gave away my boardies. They're all yours, mate. They're free. Or the shop may have given away some great wetties for free for some reason. So to give something away. Okay, number 6. To do something with no end result, guys. So this is to do something and it just be going on and on and on and on and on. To chug away. This is one that I use quite a lot, guys. You've probably heard me use it on the podcast, to chug away, or on the YouTube channel. If someone chugs away at something, it's the idea that they're doing that thing. And the verb to chug is the sound that a train makes when it's a steam train, when it's on the tracks and you hear the chug, 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 toot, toot, Chug, 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 chug. Chugging is that sound, and a train chugs away, meaning that it continues to chug constantly without sort of an end coming. It just chugs constantly. So we use this colloquially, informally, to say that we're just doing something constantly. I'm chugging away at work. How are you going, mate? Are you chugging along okay? Are you chugging away at work? I am. I'm chugging away. I'm trying to get it done, but I'm working. If you have, say, a mechanic who's working on a car that he has stored away in his garage. He's got it hoarded away or hidden away in his garage, and he's working on it. He's gone under the car. He's snuck under the car to work away at the car. We can say that he's tinkering away at the car. So to tinker is to kind of play with, to fiddle with, to try and, adjust, but again, with no end result. But in this case, tinkering away is the idea that he's just fiddling with it. So the mechanic is tinkering away under the car, adjusting it, but he's got no real end goal in mind, no end result. So the mechanic tinkered away under the car. If you've got two friends who like to talk a lot and incessantly, constantly, with no real end in sight, they just love doing it, you could say that they love to talk away, or they were out the back talking away. They were chatting away, they were speaking away about their holidays, they were talking away. So these two old men talked away. And we could make it a more complex phrasal verb by saying that they talked away together. So they were together in this sense, and they were talking away with no end result, okay? And as I mentioned at the start, this is the one that's probably the most abstract and detached from the idea of separation, as opposed to all the others. Okay. So obviously we've got to work away. So you can work away at something. You're just constantly working. We worked away on our project. You can slave away if you feel the way that you're working is really, really full on, like someone's cracking a whip over your back. You're slaving away. So I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking. I'm slaving away in the kitchen. Cooking like a slave. I'm working that hard. Working away in the kitchen, slaving away in the kitchen. If after I finish working, I go upstairs and I decide I want to pull out that book that I couldn't tear myself away from and continue to read it, I want to read on and on and on, I could read away late into the night. So he was reading away upstairs late into the night. I was reading continuously away, reading away. Maybe I put the book down and I pick up my violin and I decide that I want to play my violin. If someone heard me in the distance playing outside just constantly all day, they could say he's playing away in the backyard on his violin. He's playing away. There's no end in sight. He's just doing this thing constantly. He's playing away on the violin in the backyard. All right, we'll go through some miscellaneous ones and then we'll get into the expressions and then we'll finish up. So number one of the miscellaneous ones is to get away with something. So remember, get away can be to escape, but if you get away with something, it's to escape punishment. So you've gotten away with the thing that you should have been punished for. So you've escaped. Okay, so someone could get away with murder. So they have killed someone, it was murder, there was no self-defense, and they got caught for it, but they were exonerated, they got off, the court did not find them guilty, so they got away with murder. The man got away with murder, he got away with murder. You can do away with something. So if you do away with something, it means that you abolish that thing, you get rid of that thing. This tends to be used for things like laws, so the government did away with that old law, meaning that they got rid of it, they disposed of it, they decided they no longer wanted it. So they did away with that old law. You can put someone away somewhere. So for instance, you could be put in jail, and that is to put someone away. So the criminal who originally got away with murder, new evidence came to light, they found this new evidence, and they put him away in jail. So the criminal got put away in jail. The criminal was put away in jail. If you refuse entry to someone, you turn someone away That's the idea of you're, say, a bouncer working at a nightclub, so the security guard at a nightclub. Someone's come to try and get in the door, and this is you standing in the doorway, and you've turned them away. So you've said, sorry mate, you're not coming in, turn away, go off, on you go away, get out of here, stay away, we're turning you away. And that's, I guess that pairs with the idea of the distance. We're turning you around and then away from where we are. To explain something away, and this is to dismiss something or to justify something, usually with bad excuses. So the politician explained away the controversy, meaning that there was some kind of controversy, maybe he stole something or reportedly did something he shouldn't have, but he gave an excuse to sort of get away with it. He explained it away, like the thing was nothing. So here's him and the figurative thing that he's having to explain, and he explained it away. He got rid of it. He explained it away. We can get carried away with something. So if you get carried away, to carry is to be lifted up and taken somewhere. If someone gets carried away with something, this is to be like overly excited, to be enthusiastic. Almost like you're so excited you need to be carried away because you can't walk or you can't run, okay? So if you get carried away with something, it's to be overly excited, overly enthusiastic, too much. So for example, we got carried away and drank way too much last night. So we did too much of what that was. We drank too much, we got carried away. So let's go through some expressions, guys, and then we'll finish up with a Q&A session where you guys can ask me anything on the live stream. So if you have any questions about phrasal verbs with away, put them in the comments section down here below while I go through some of these expressions. And I think I have about 10 or 11 here. All right, first one. If you blow someone away, or if you are blown away, it means you're like shocked or amazed. It's that idea, I guess, of like full-on emotions, whether it's totally afraid, totally scared, or totally like in love, happy, obsessed, to be blown away. So for example, maybe my dad bought a new car and it was my favorite car, and when he showed up in the car, he got out of the car, he showed me the car, and it blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. I was just like, wow, that's amazing. Or it could be a car that I hate and it could still blow me away with me thinking, ugh, why would you do that? Something can be a stone's throw away from something else. So you can imagine that if two things are together, they're like this. If they're away, they're like this. If something is a stone's throw away from something else, that's the idea that you could literally pick up a rock and you could throw that rock and it would hit the thing. So the basic idea there is that they're very close. They're very close. There's distance between them, but they're very close. So for instance, and this could be relative, Melbourne is a stone's throw away from Geelong in terms of cities like Sydney. So it's only about, 50 minutes to drive from Melbourne to Geelong, whereas if I wanted to drive from Melbourne to Sydney, it's about 11 or 12 hours. So comparatively, relatively, Melbourne and Geelong are a stone's throw away from each other. They're really close. To be light years away from. This is kind of the opposite of to be a stone's throw away from something. If something is light years away from, a light year is how long it takes, or the distance that it takes light to travel over the period of a year. So it's a very, very, very vast distance. Stars tend to be on the magnitude of multiple light years away from our star. So if something is light years away from something else, it's a far, far, far way to go to get to those things. And we can often use this figuratively to mean, say, my Mandarin Chinese skills are light years away from fluency, meaning that my skills are here and fluency is way, way, way up there. My skills are currently light years away from fluency. Okay, so it's massive distance as opposed to something being a stone's throw away, meaning they're very, very close together. A light year, or to be light years away, to be a stone's throw away. Away in both of those cases is talking about the things being separated, but a stone's throw is a joke that they're close together, and a light year is sort of an exaggeration about how far away the things are. If someone's off with the fairies, or away with the fairies, I should say, if you're away with the fairies, you're not thinking about anything. You're sort of in your own head, not concentrating on the task at hand. So if I'm meant to be helping my dad who's tinkering away under the car, and I'm just sitting above it, off with the fairies or away with the fairies, it means that I've gone away from this situation, like reality as it is currently, and my mind is away somewhere else. We can say it's away with the fairies, okay? With the fairies. He's off with the fairies, he's away with the fairies. He's just dreaming, Another one is to get away scot-free. To get away scot-free, and again, this could be used as to get off scot-free, and this means to have no consequences for something. It could be to escape punishment. Yeah, probably escape punishment, but if you get off scot-free or you get away scot-free, you didn't have to pay for anything. You didn't have to face that punishment. You didn't have to face up to the punishment. You got away scot-free. So there was no repercussions. There were no consequences. Say someone robbed a bank and the cops caught them, put them in jail, put them away in jail, but they end up getting off, they end up getting away scot-free because they get released. The judge, for some reason, the case falls through and they can't be put in jail, so they get away scot-free. We also went over to get away with murder. We can use this figuratively to mean that you've been allowed to do a lot without any kind of control of you. So, for example, if my parents, when I was growing up, never punished me for anything, they gave me everything. Anytime I did something wrong at school, they didn't punish me, they didn't say anything. Could be worse, they give me a reward for it. That is figuratively to get away with murder. So I could get away with murder, meaning I just don't get punished for anything. And literally that would be that you murdered someone and you got away with it. So you didn't get punished for murdering someone. But we often use that especially with children, if they just never get punished, their parents love them so much that they can do anything and their parents always love them. They get away with murder, they can do whatever they want and they don't get punished. A really cool saying that I found here too, guys, was when the cat's away, the mice will play. So it rhymes. I guess it's an expression, but it's also a saying or an old wives' tale. When the cat's away, the mice will play. This is the basic idea of when your boss or someone high up in a business or maybe at home with your family, if there's someone who's very controlling and sort of, bossy, if they are away on a holiday at work, the mice will play, as in you can do what you want. You're relaxed, you're at ease, you can do whatever you want. So if my mum was a really horrible person when she was at home, which she's not, I'm sorry mum, but if she were a really horrible person and always telling me what to do, not letting me read the books that I want to read, play PlayStation, eat what I want to eat, in this figurative expression, she's the cat, and when she's away, when she's not at the house, we the mice, or me the mouse, can play because we're not afraid of the cat coming and eating us. Okay, so when the cat's away, the mice will play. That's a really good expression that everyone will know in the English-speaking world. All right, got a few more here. If you sign your life away, that is to imagine you're making a deal with someone for just a lot of money, or say I don't know. I think money would be the basic thing. So people will make jokes using this expression in English quite a bit. My dad would say this to me. If I bought a really expensive car, he might say, "Well, did you have to sign your life away for that?" Meaning, did I sign my life to someone else saying they've got my life now? I signed it away to them for something. So I bought a house for $1 million. Well, man, it was so expensive. I pretty much signed my life away. So that's a really cool one to use if you're talking about something that is, I guess, usually very expensive. Yeah, I signed my life away for that thing. To lock someone up and throw away the key. This can mean to throw the key away, as in just for it to disappear. Or it could be that you threw the key in the trash. You know, the key to unlock a door, you've thrown it in the trash. But if you lock someone up, you've put them somewhere and locked the doors. You've locked them up. And usually to lock someone up is to put them in jail or prison or, you know, in some kind of room. You've locked them up. If you want to lock someone up and throw the key away, it's that you never want them to be able to escape. They will always be in that cell, in the prison, in the jail. They're locked up there and there's no key. No one can find the key. It's disappeared, so they're permanently there. They're stuck in the cell forever. So you might hear this quite often with criminals who are horrible and they've done like the worst crime imaginable, or for whatever reason someone just really hates this person and wants them to be locked up permanently. They'll say, lock him up and throw away the key. Throw the key away so that he never gets out. Lock him up and throw away the key. If you are a heartbeat away from doing something, to be a heartbeat away from it is to be really, really close to doing it. So you imagine, I guess, a heartbeat in this sense is literally like a second, ba-bump, ba-bump. If you're a heartbeat away from doing something, it means that you were just about to. So it's talking about a heartbeat with regards to time. So literally a fraction of a second, a really small amount of time. I was a heartbeat away from quitting my job when my boss swore at me. Or I was a heartbeat away from signing my life away for this beautiful car. But then I thought better and I didn't sign my life away, but I was a heartbeat away from doing it. I was very, very, very close. Very close. So I guess this one's almost closer than a stone's throw away, okay? 3 left. He who fights and runs away may live to fight another day. He who fights and runs away may live to fight another day. This is one that's used quite a bit. Again, it's a saying. It's a bit too long to be an expression. But if you fight someone and then you start to lose and you're like, screw this, I'm out of here, I'm bailing, I'm going to run away, then you get to live, you're not going to be killed in the fight, to fight again another day. So he who fights and runs away may live to fight another day. And quite often, people in movies will use this to mean that they are sort of a coward with some kind of event that's happened and they have run away when they should have potentially stayed and seen it out, seen it finished, seen it through, seen it occur. But instead they run away so that they don't die and they can come back and do, more things later. But figuratively, he who fights and runs away may live to fight another day. If you give the game away, this is to reveal the ending or to reveal a secret. So if you give the game away, I guess I would imagine that you're playing a game that involves, the other team not knowing what you've got. If you're playing cards or some kind of board game, if someone gives the game away, it's that they've told everyone what everyone has and now everyone knows who's going to win. You've given the game away. So it's the idea of telling someone a secret. I had organised a surprise birthday party for my mum. She was turning 60 and I'd set up a surprise birthday party, but my sister gave the game away when she rang her up and told her that the surprise birthday party was going to take place. So she gave the game away. All right, the very last one, guys, is to go away from something empty-handed. So nothing in my hands, they're empty. I went away empty-handed, nothing. If you go away from something empty-handed, it means you leave with nothing. So, for instance, imagine I get fired from my job at work and I get no money, they don't pay me for the week, I don't get to take any of my stuff home, I had to go home empty-handed. I had to leave empty-handed, I had to go away empty-handed. Or imagine that someone knocked on the door of my house, and they've said, oh, we're just collecting up donations for the local charity. Would you like to give me any money for this charity? If I said I don't have anything, sorry guys. I could say that I've turned them away. I've told them, no, go away. I've turned them away. And as a result of not collecting anything from me, I have turned them away and they've gone away empty-handed. Empty-handed, nothing in their hands. So gone away, separation. So that's it, guys. That is the particle away and all of these different phrasal verbs. There should be well over 100 different phrasal verbs that I will have used in today's episode. So go through all of the content when you sign up to the Effortless Phrasal Verbs course, guys. Remember, you're going to get access to the video that I've used here, but it's going to be paired with the slideshow that I'm reading off. You'll get a list of all the verbs that I've used, not just the ones that I've talked about, but the ones that have come out of my mouth whilst explaining the verbs that I've talked about. They'll go in the transcript, so you'll get a transcript that's word for word what I say in this video, and then you'll see every single phrasal verb I use in this episode at the bottom, highlighted with the definition, and then with examples below it, okay? And it'll be dripping out 2 episodes a week. So I'm about to put up last Monday's episode, and then tonight I'll start working on this episode and it'll go up on Monday. So make sure you check it out, guys. The link is in the description if you want to sign up. I think you're going to get a lot out of it if you like studying, and if phrasal verbs are the bane of your existence, if they're really frustrating, I really, really recommend getting onto this course and giving it a go. But let's get through some of these questions for you guys before I disappear. Alrighty then. Guys, there are a few of you asking me for the spelling of all this stuff. Again, that will be in the content when you sign up for the course. Otherwise, you might just have to listen a few times to understand the words and then do a quick Google search. I'm sure you'll be able to find them if you need. But again, if you want all the verbs written out with the definitions and everything, that'll be in the bonus content when you sign up for this course. So, how did the different territories in Australia get their name? That's a very complicated one, Ruchi, and I'll have to look into it because I don't know all of them off the top of my head, unfortunately. I would imagine Victoria, though, would have been named after Queen Victoria. So, I might have to do an episode on that. What do we got here? So, is it hearts beat away or heart beat away? I think you could probably use both there, Ruchi. It would just depend on how you felt. They're both probably expressions. So a hearts, as in my heart's beat away from something, or I could just say a heartbeat away from something. I think you could use either one. What else have you got here? Lale asks, thanks Pete. What's the difference between reply, respond, and answer? I think these are all synonyms for one another, Lale. This is one I'd have to research and make an episode about to really get into the nitty-gritty of the differences. But I'm pretty sure that you could use these all interchangeably, especially if talking about, say, writing an email or texting someone or calling someone. I guess to answer something is to give the information that person wants, whereas to respond to something is to have given them some kind of response. It doesn't have to be the answer. It's just that you've said something in response, okay? And the same with reply. It may not be the answer, but it's information that you've given them, whether you're just responding. Bruna, no. It's a once-off payment. You pay once, you get access to everything as it comes out over time until it's completed, and then you will have permanent access to the entire course until the day that you die, okay? So you'll have access to it. It's one payment. It's not like the Aussie English Classroom where it's an ongoing fee. It's a one-time payment. What else have we got here? Is it chuck it or chuck it away? That's another good one, Lale. You can use both. Again, we've just turned chuck into chuck away, so we can use the verb as in to chuck something, or we can say chuck it away, meaning more to throw it away. I think chuck it is probably just a contraction of chuck it away. So, for instance, when I was dealing with like sorting through my stuff in my room, my parents were asking me, they said, we've got these boxes filled up with your stuff. Can you chuck your stuff away? And I was sifting through all of my stuff. I was looking through it all. I was picking out what I wanted to keep. And then I threw away all the things I didn't want to. While I was doing that, my mum would be standing behind me quite often going through the stuff as well. And she would say, do you want to keep this? Do you want to keep this? Do you want to keep this? And I would just tend to respond, nah, chuck it, chuck it, chuck it, chuck it. So it's the same as chuck it away. It's just a very short version. Chuck it, turf it, throw it away, throw it. You can do it with all of those. No worries, Bruna. Aline, can I say sign my life away for a job because the job will be very busy, or I can only sign my life away for expensive stuff? No, you could definitely do it for that. That's a good example where it's not so much money that's related to it, but say when you sign up to a job or you sign the contract for a job, if the expectations are going to be ridiculous, like busy, maybe they're going to require you to work 12 hours a day, that's another way of saying I'm literally signing my life away. I guess in this sense though, as opposed to money, it's time that you're signing away or energy that you're signing away. So it's like a resource, I guess. Could be money, could be time, could be energy. If anything requires the majority or a really large portion of your time, of your energy, of your money, you could say that then figuratively you're signing your life away. So you're not just signing up for a job, but they've said, also will include your life, and you've signed your name under it. Somi, Pete, may you please explain the difference between disposing and discarding? Again, I think these are just synonyms. As a native speaker, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference off the top of my head. I think there would be, it's one of those things where there's overlap, and there's like, if I discard something, I throw it away, but it's kind of like carelessly. I'm not really paying attention to it. I just discarded it, threw it away. Disposing of it could be an active sort of task of like wanting it to be recycled, thrown in the bin, disposed of, gotten rid of. Whereas I think discard as well, yeah, it's kind of like you could just drop it accidentally and you've discarded it. So if I was like opening up a piece of chewing gum like this, I could just discard the piece of paper by throwing it behind me. Whereas if I dispose of it, I make sure that it goes in the bin and it gets disposed of. Okay, so that might be where those two separate and are used differently. You dispose of something, you make sure it's thrown in the bin. If you just discard it, you just throw it away and go about your day. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Any other questions, guys, before we finish up? What's Pac-Man? Pac-Man is that game from the 1970s. So it was the little yellow face that looked like cheese, a wheel of cheese with like a slice cut out of it, and it did the waka 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 and chased after the stuff. That was Pac-Man. So that's why I was talking about Pac-Man kind of being like the ocean eating away at something, because Pac-Man is just literally a mouth doing this, and I think it's spelled P-A-C. Aline, did you ask me another question? Get away scot-free, similar to get off the hook? Kind of, yeah, kind of. Get off the hook is kind of escape something that you were on the hook for, though, originally. So that would be the idea that you were caught, you went to jail, and then you got off the hook, meaning, someone had put you on the hook, or maybe you're a fish that's bitten onto a hook, and you've gotten off the hook, so you were in trouble, and now you're not in trouble. If you get off scot-free, it could be the idea that you were caught, but I guess it could also be the idea that you were never caught and you got off scot-free. But yeah, I think it would probably, you'd use them interchangeably. And according to Google, here's something interesting. I always thought it was spelt Scott as in the name, free. But it's actually spelt S-C-O-T -free. So I'm not sure where that comes from, but it sounds like it might have something to do with being Scottish, a Scot, instead of the word Scott for a name. Okay? Lale wants to know what the meaning of life is. That's got two connotations to it. So, the meaning of life: the condition that distinguishes animals and plants from inorganic matter, including the capacity for growth, reproduction, functional activity, and continual change preceding death. There you go. Other than that, I think it's to have fun and, make a lot of friends while you're living. But that's about it, guys. Anyway, make sure you sign up for this course if you guys want to crush phrasal verbs, if you want to do away with books and having to worry about phrasal verbs in the future. It's only $97 now. It's going to go up once it's finished, but I'm going to be dripping all of these out over time, these episodes, twice a week. Check it out. The link's in the description. I've kept you long enough. I hope you have a great night, guys, and I'll chat to you later. See ya!